Hello, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Brooks Park. How you doing tonight? All right. I'm glad you guys came. I know you all thought it was going to rain, but it's not going to rain. It never rains on Tuesdays, and it does not rain on Fridays either in Chatham. So we've got that down. My name is Tom Yaka, and I have the honor of being the conductor of the Harwich Town Band. This is our second concert of the 2022 season, and we are very happy that you have joined us here tonight. I would like to thank Eric Beebe and the Town of Harwich Recreation and Youth Department. I'd like to thank the Harwich Highway Department, the Harwich Cultural Center, the Harwich Chamber of Commerce, the First Congregational Church, and Carol and Carrie and the Harwich Community Center for all their support during the past 47 years. Without them, the Harwich Town Band would not be possible. Now, I want to give a very special shout out to this man, Jim Fulton and Channel 18. Yeah. Every week he comes and films our concerts so that people who can't make it to our concert can watch them for free on television. So we want to thank him for all that he does and all that Channel 18 does. We really appreciate it. How about a nice round of applause for Jim Fulton and Channel 18? Now, last week we introduced the town's theme song, and this week we're going to play it again. So without further ado, and I hope I actually start singing at the right place this week, we're going to play for you Harwich Is the Town for Me. Charm, it has grace, it's a beautiful place. Harwich is the town for me. Bogs of berries and sand, ponds and beaches so grand. We live in perfect harmony. San Francisco and Boston have treasures well known, but we're happy in Harwich with treasures of our own. So join in and rejoice, and let's sing with one voice. Harwich is the town for me. I still didn't come in the right place, but I will next week, I swear to goodness. Yeah, you don't know the, good point. That was perfect, ladies and gentlemen, and I did everything correctly. All right. Now, that song was written by a man named Milton Adolphus, and he was born in the Bronx, educated at Yale, and he wrote more than 200 works, including 13 symphonies and 35 string quartets. He was also a founding member of the American Composers Alliance, whose first president was Aaron Copland. He was director of the Philadelphia Music Center in the 1930s, and he also wrote a number of songs like Dream a Little Dream of Me. Now, he retired to West Harwich, he was in the band, and he died in August of 1988. So how about a nice round of applause for Milton Adolphus? And our next song is a collection of tunes from the musical Chicago, written by John Kander, Fred Ebb, and Bob Fosse in 1975. It ran for more than 936 performances, ending in 1977, and had a hugely successful revival in 1996. It still holds the record for the longest running revival in American musical history, and in 2002, the movie version won the Academy Award for Best Picture. So enjoy this medley called simply Music from Chicago. Harwich Town Band started in 1975 with a simple advertisement that was placed in the local newspaper. The band's first performance was on a horse-drawn hay wagon back when Harwich had a 4th of July parade. This next song is also from 1975, written by the late, great Freddie Mercury. It was performed by British rock group Queen. It has sold more than 6 million copies and is the United Kingdom's 3rd best-selling single of all time. It tops the charts in Canada, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and Australia, though surprisingly not in the United States, but it came very close. Here's Harwich Town Band's version of Bohemian Rhapsody. I am so proud of this band and how amazing they sound. Every year they get a little better and a little better. Did you know that Harwich Town Band is made up of musicians from all over the Cape? They come from the towns of Bourne, Sandwich, Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Brewster, Chatham, Orleans, Eastham, and of course, Harwich. Thank you all to these wonderful musicians who come from all over the Cape to make music in our little hometown. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we've got a new piece this year. It's a collection of songs that were made famous by Old Blue Eyes himself. With his charismatic style, this incomparable performer put his unique stamp on a number of familiar standards. Our medley for the band features some of his best known hits, including Come Fly With Me, Witchcraft, That's Life, and Fly Me to the Moon. So this is a new one for us. This is the first time we're performing it in public. This one is simply called Sinatra. Now our next piece contains 4 wonderful songs from the vaudeville era. Now I ask you please not to leave, just stay in your seats. Tarara Bumdier from 1891 was first performed in Boston, Massachusetts, and it later became the theme song to the Howdy Doody Show. Second is going to be something called Mother Was a Lady from 1896, performed by a famous at the time performer called Lottie Gilson. She was also known as the Little Magnet because of her ability to attract big audiences. Third is When You and I Were Young, Maggie from 1864, and it's an old soft shoe tap dance written by a Canadian school teacher about one of his pupils who he then later married. And lastly, Our Boys Will Shine Tonight, a cheerleading and fight song by Gordon Langford. Here's an old one called Buggies, Bells, and Bicycles. Another round of applause for the Harwich Down Band. All right. Now our next song needs almost no introduction. Sung by the singing rage Miss Patty Page, Old Cape Cod is the Cape's unofficial theme song and was released in 1957 and became a gold record, having sold more than 1 million copies. Now tonight you are in for a real treat. We have our own songstress, the singing virtuoso Miss Beverly DiPolo, and she lives right here in Harwich. So she is a music teacher, and not only will she sing tonight, but this is also her arrangement that she composed for the entire band. So let's have a nice round of applause for our flute and piccolo player, Miss Beverly DiPolo.
You're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. If you like the taste of a lobster stew, served by a window with an ocean view, you're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. Winding roads that seem to beckon you, miles of green beneath the skies of blue, church bells chiming on a Sunday morn remind you of the town where you were born. If you spend an evening, you'll want to stay, watching the moonlight on Cape Cod Bay. You're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. Winding roads that seem to beckon you, miles of green beneath the skies of blue, church bells chiming on a Sunday morn remind you of the town where you were born. If you spend an evening, you'll want to stay, watching the moonlight on Cape Cod Bay. You're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod.
How about Beverly DiPolo? I can't believe it. Oh, so gorgeous. Just love it. This next song is new for us this year as well. Sometimes the band members request to play certain songs that they play with in other bands. So this piece was requested by a number of musicians, and everybody seemed to really like it. Did you know that every time the band would like to play a new piece, we have to order it from a publisher? And believe it or not, every single piece of music costs 75 to 100 bucks. So if we want 4 or 5 new songs in a particular summer, that's $500 that the band has to spend. Now, I want to thank the town of Harwich and the citizens of Harwich for giving us a budget every year. It goes to new music. We bought some new chairs this year. We bought some new hats and many other things. We have lots of expenses, so if you'd like to contribute to the Harwich Town Band, even if it's $5 or $10, you can always send a check to the town hall, and you can write it to the gift of the Harwich Town Band, and they'll put it into the town's gift fund, and that will is a tax write-off. So if you'd like to give to us, that would be great. If you don't, thank you so much. This one is new. It's called Curtain Call. Musical. It opened at Broadway in 1949 and it ran for 1,925 performances. I am so glad that Broadway in New York is now open and functioning again. It's amazing what you take for granted, especially during the pandemic. I encourage you to go to any show around here on Cape Cod. The Cape Cod Theater Company, which was formerly known as the Harwich Junior Theater in West Harwich, does fantastic plays and musicals. I encourage you to go. I'll let you in on a little secret. When I was a kid, I used to go there in the summer, and there was a jester there that comes out at the beginning, and it used to say hello to people and talk to the audience before every show. And my grandmother told me that I was horrified of the poor jester, and that once I even cried. So, but I want you to know that I have overcome my irrational fear of jesters, and I can actually go to the Harwich Junior Theater now. So, here's one. Highlights from South Pacific. around, so I want everyone to come on down. We're going to do our march around. We're going to hand out little flags, and Beverly and Laura are going to help pass out the flags. And then right here, Mr. Mark Parney usually is one of our leaders. So Beverly and Mark Parney, we're going to walk around. We're not going to walk around the bandstand. We're going to walk around the band. So, how you doing tonight, Mark? Hey, you guys. You want a flag? All right. Thank you. Where's Mommy going?
Right at the end of the line.
Down by the riverside. So this one is one of my favorites. It's called Hootenanny. I just love that word. So we're actually, my dream is coming true. Our next piece comes from a movie. It's originally a series of 7 novels written by J.K. Rowling about a young wizard called Harry Potter. Now, I can't imagine that you haven't read one of the books or seen one of the movies or at least heard the phrase Harry Potter. Now, every time a Harry Potter movie comes on the TV, I promptly sit down and watch it if I have time. Now, my poor dad, who's sitting right over there, he sits with me and he watches it over and over and over. We've seen every movie about 7 times, and he never complains, though once in a while he does fall asleep. So, anyways, it's my musical fantasy to play the highlights from Harry Potter, and it's like the perfect night. It's a little eerie, it's a little cloudy, there's just a tad of rain. Here's highlights from Harry Potter. All right, we're just about done with our program. We're going to do one last march, followed by the Star-Spangled Banner. So this one is by John Philip Sousa. It's called El Capitan, and it's actually from an operetta that he wrote of the same name. The operetta was first produced right here in Boston in 1896 at the Tremont Theater, and later making it to Broadway for 112 performances, and it was followed by 4 years of touring. That's how popular this operetta was. Now, I find this information fascinating. I hope you do too. So after we play the march, please stand up for our national anthem, and that will be the end of our concert. Thank you so much for coming. We really, really appreciate it.